this is Fiona from Flex Physio, just taking you through a basic level mat Pilates class today, just focusing on engaging through the core, getting a little bit of work through our glutes and thinking posture through our upper back. So to start off with, we're just going to start on the mat. You can do this on the floor at home without a mat if you don't have one, but lying on our back and just getting an awareness through our pelvic floor and lower abdominals in a neutral pelvis position. So coming down onto your back here, and we'll start with the feet and knees bent into what's called a crook lying position. So feet and knees about hip distance apart and just keeping nice and open through your shoulders. If you need a little pillow under your head, you can place a folded up towel or pillow under your head so that the neck's not dropping back. And if you feel your pelvic bones at the front here and come in and down slightly, you want to be able to feel just below the fleshy area into the muscles, so that when you engage your pelvic floor, it's a sense of pulling up inside, and you should feel a little bit of tension under your fingers, and then relax. So it's an internal muscle lift, but you should feel the outer abdominals, the transverse abdominals engage at the same time. We can also think about engaging these deep abdominal muscle layers by having a sense of drawing those two pelvic bones towards the midline. So if you imagine you've got a low belt on and you're trying to do that up an extra notch, you just gently draw in and you should feel that tension under the lower abdominals. So to test that we're engaging those lower abdominals, we want to start off by trying to think about keeping the pelvis and the trunk nice and still. So if you take your fingertips back to those pelvic bones, and imagine you've got a glass of water balancing on your right knee. From here, we're going to let that left knee just drop out lightly towards the side and then back up again. So what we're trying to avoid here is the whole pelvis rotating over to the left, but keeping that neutral pelvis and neutral spine, controlling the knee out and then back in. So it's a breath in and then exhale as you lower the knee to the side. Inhale, coming back up to the ceiling. 3 more there. Keeping nice and relaxed through the shoulders, right knee still, and trying to minimize the movement in the trunk. And then we'll do 8 with the right leg moving. So engaging through the core, and feeling that right knee drop out to the side and then back up to the ceiling. Keeping that left knee balanced. Thinking about the weight of the left thigh sinking down towards the ground to help encourage that stability, so that the right leg feels nice and free to move out to the side. And 3 more there. Gently drawing in through the pelvic floor and feeling that low belt tighten to help engage the deep abdominals. So from here we can challenge the lower abdominals by taking one leg into tabletop. So tabletop is a 90-degree position at the hip and knee. So with the breath out, we want to think about engaging the core first and then float one leg up to tabletop, balancing the knee over the hip. Hold for a breath in, and then exhale, place that foot back down onto the mat. Re-engage through the core, and a light transfer of weight as we float the opposite leg up. Hold for a breath in, and then exhale back down. So with this exercise, what we're trying to minimize is the back going into an arch as you lift the leg. So we're using the core to keep the trunk still, and be able to disassociate the leg from the trunk. The legs should feel quite light and the work come into the lower abdominals. Making sure pelvic floor is engaged, arms are just lightly resting by your side, and then back down. Now you could stick at this level and do about 10 each side. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, we can float one leg up to tabletop, then imprint the rib cage, so thinking of that heaviness through the rib cage, draw in a little more, and float the opposite leg up to tabletop. Hold for a breath in, exhale, place that foot down, and then lower the first leg. Re-engage through the center, float one leg to tabletop, imprint the rib cage, Breathing out, second leg comes up. Hold for a breath in. Exhale, place the right foot down and then the left foot down. Good. Keep going there, alternating which leg is the leading leg. And then left leg leads the movement, keeping the shoulders relaxed, length through the back of the neck. Tap the foot down lightly and then lower that leg. We'll go one more each side. Float one leg to tabletop, imprint the rib cage and the second leg comes up. Keeping that draw in through the lower belly, lower the foot down lightly and then the right foot. One last one leading with the left. So you should feel a little bit of work through the lower tummy here. From there, we're going to take the work into our glutes a little bit more and work on some spinal mobility with our bridges. So I'll get you to walk your heels a little bit closer to your bottom, keeping that width through the collarbones. From here, again, engage through the pelvic floor, and we're going to roll the pelvis backwards so you feel that zip in through the belly, then squeeze through the bottom and start to peel the spine up off the floor. What we want to watch here is that we don't just force the chest up and over arch through the back. So we're trying to keep the shoulder blades down and maintain that connection ribs to hips at the front. Hold for a breath in and then exhale, slowly lower the spine down, feeling each vertebrae imprint onto the floor. Inhale and exhale, roll the spine back, tuck the tailbone and squeeze through the bottom. Hold there for a breath in. And exhale, slowly roll the spine down. The first few might feel quite stiff, like you're going up and down like a plank, but the more you move through it, the more you should start to feel that segmental roll down, feeling that elongation along the spine, working the glutes all the way down and all the way up. Hold for a breath in, and exhale, slowly roll the spine back down. Go 3 more there. Tilt the pelvis, squeeze the bottom, feel the knees reach out over the feet. Hold for a breath in and exhale, slowly roll the spine back down. Making sure we come down evenly, both sides. Breath in at the top and exhale, roll down. So you should be feeling your glute max muscles here, the big gluteal muscles. And then rolling back down. From here, we're going to turn onto our side to work our glute med muscle with a clamshell. Now, if you have a small pillow, you can take hold of that and place it under your head. Otherwise, just with the arm outstretched and resting the ear on the shoulder. So we start with the knees bent, and you want your heels in line with your bottom, shoulder, and ear. So imagine you're looking at yourself from above. You've got that nice straight line. Place the top hand on your hip and really try and lengthen it away so you feel that lift of the waistline off the floor there. Keeping the heels squeezed together, rotate that top knee up towards the ceiling and then lower back down. So we're trying to avoid rolling the whole body back. Imagine a wall behind you and the movement is the leg in the hip socket. Squeezing the heel together helps you engage those glutes, and you want to feel that work in the back pocket here. If you're feeling it all through the front, try and move your feet a little bit further back and think a little bit more through your pelvic floor. Breathing out as you lift the knee, breath in as you lower, keeping the shoulder relaxed away from the ears, length through the back of the neck, and feeling that rib cage draw back towards the spine. Let's go 4 more there, breathing out and in. Last one, rotating that knee up and then down. You might want to give the bottom a little bit of a tap there. From here, we're going to sit up and do a mermaid stretch. Just place that pillow up the other end because we'll come back to those clamshells. So bringing the legs into this Z sit, You can, if uncomfortable there, come into a cross-legged position as well. From here, reach your arms out wide. Gently bring the hand and elbow down to the ground as you stretch your spine up and over, trying to keep this hip anchored towards the ground. Breath in, and then exhale, gently lifting back up and over, and we'll follow through with a counter stretch. Inhale and exhale. Carefully lower the spine down, feel the rib cage lift up towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in and exhale, drawing the chest back up and gently adding in that counter stretch. One more there. And we'll change the legs over and do 3 on the other side. Good, so sitting up nice and tall. Inhale and exhale, going up and over, trying to keep the body in line with the mat. So imagine you're between 2 glass panes and we're trying to avoid hitting the front or the back. So it's a pure side stretch. One more each way. Up and over like a rainbow. And coming back, relaxing the hands down. We're going to come back to those clamshells, just up the other end of the mat now. So reaching that bottom arm out long, you can place that little towel or pillow there if you like. Knees bent and your feet back in line with the body, keeping that length through the waistline. Squeeze the heels together and rotate that top knee open. Remember, pelvic floor is drawn up and that gentle tension through the lower abdominals to assist in keeping the pelvis nice and still so that we can isolate that movement to the leg in the hip socket and feel that work in the glute at the back or side of the hip there. Good. Breath out and breath in. Pelvic floor drawn up and squeezing those heels together to initiate that movement. Let's go 3 more there. And resting down. Lovely. So from here we're going to turn onto our belly and do a little bit of work through the back of the shoulders. So if you have that pillow or towel, place it just under your forehead, and we're going to bring the hands down by the side of the body. So when we're lying on our tummy, we want to make sure we're not hinging into the low back. So we still need to think about engaging the core and have a sense of the tailbone reaching down towards the heels. It's not a squeeze at the bottom, it's a lift through the lower tummy. So imagine you've got a little pea under your belly and you're trying not to squash that blueberry or that pea. From here, draw your shoulder blades back and down. So we're trying to create that width through the collarbones and then float the hands up just above the height of the bottom. So the first set we can go through the full movement where you draw the shoulder blades back and down and then hover the hands. The second set, so you might do 10 to 12. The second set you could hold the shoulders back there and pulse the arms up and down. But let's start off just with that first part, creating that length. Two more like that. Have a little breather, and then we'll do one set of 10 pulses, lifting the hands up and down but keeping the shoulder blades drawn down towards the middle of the spine. Engage through pelvic floor. relaxing down there. Place the hands under your chest, gently pushing up, and we'll sit all the way back into a prayer stretch or child's pose there. You can take your knees apart slightly, bottom back towards the heels, and just resting your head down. Taking nice deep breaths. And then come back onto your hands and knees, and we'll go into a cat-cow here. So just again working on that mobility through your spine. We want the wrists underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. So to start off with, we tilt through the pelvis and tuck the tailbone down, scooping up through the belly, looking through the knees. Hold there for a breath in. Exhale, roll the pelvis forwards, lengthen the distance between the ribs and hips. Arching the spine and eye gaze forwards. Hold for a breath in. And exhale, tuck the tailbone, scoop through the belly, rounding the spine. Breathing out, elongate the distance between the ribs and hips, opening the chest and keeping the shoulders away from the ears. One more like that. Tuck the tailbone, scoop through the belly. From here, we're going to come back halfway between those 2 points. So you should have a little bit of tailbone up, keeping the chest lifted into the shoulder blades without rounding through your back, and the head in line with the spine. Watch you don't lock your elbows here, so nice soft elbows. From there, we're going to take the right leg out and lift it up to the line of the body, squeezing through the glute, and then place the right knee back underneath the hip and changing sides. We're trying to minimize that shift of the weight from side to side, so working through the trunk muscles to keep the body still, and again that disassociation of the leg from the trunk. Watch that the head doesn't drop down to the ground, so the eyes are looking at that imaginary line between the middle fingers, keeping the ears in line with the shoulders, and feel your chest lift up into your shoulder blades. Reaching the leg away, squeezing through the glute to lift it up to the line of the body. When we lift the leg, we want to watch that the back doesn't hinge. So thinking about those abdominal muscles we worked earlier, and trying to maintain that connection ribs to hips so that the back doesn't go into extension. Aiming for about 10 each side. We'll go one more each side. And then again, resting back into that prayer stretch or child's pose, knees apart, hands forward. Take both hands to one side of the mat, crossing the hands over, and just increasing that stretch down the side of the trunk. Hold that for 3 breaths. And then same on the other side. Rounding through the spine. Hands back to the middle, walk the knees in. We're going to curl the toes under and then push back through the hands, bringing the feet flat to the ground and lengthening through the back of the legs. From here, scoop through the belly and start to roll the spine up, restacking each vertebrae, glide the shoulders down, head comes up. Inhale and exhale, chin onto chest and rolling the spine down. Try not to lock your knees, scooping the body weight up and forwards, let the head hang heavy and elongating through the spine. Hold for a breath in and then breathe out, scooping up through the belly. Use those tummy muscles to pull you up. Glide the shoulders down, head's last to come up. One more. Keeping that body weight forwards. Hold for a breath in. Breathing out. Restack the spine. And heads last to come up. Thank you very much for joining for our beginner level mat Pilates class. Hope you enjoyed that, and we'll have some more classes up online for you soon.